Hey everybody, our next recipe is creamy macaroni and cheese. You want to make sure that you've gathered your ingredients and make sure you've gathered your equipment. Once you have gathered your ingredients and your equipment, you can begin by melting 2 tablespoons of butter and adding 2 tablespoons of flour to your pan. And what we're going to be doing is creating a roux, which is a mixture of fat and flour. Once your roux has been created, we're going to add milk, and this is called a bechamel, which is basically a cream sauce made out of fat, flour, and milk. When melting your butter, you do not want to burn it, so please keep an eye on it. And when you add your flour, you're going to cook it until it is cooked for about a minute. And that's just going to take that raw flour taste away from it. Once you have added the milk to the flour, it's going to gradually begin to thicken. Again, you want to avoid cooking this on a high heat, so just reduce the temperature to about medium-low and allow it to slowly cook. To your flour, butter, milk mixture, you're going to add just a pinch of nutmeg, which you'll notice the nutmeg was already combined into the flour. And that's just going to help bring out the flavor of the cream sauce. Avoid putting too much nutmeg in it because nutmeg can become very overwhelming. Now you'll notice during the mixing of our bechamel, I switched from using the wooden spoon to the whisk. And this is just going to allow us to have a nice, smooth, consistent texture when making our bechamel. And it keeps us from having lumps. So avoid having lumps by using the whisk. You'll notice that as I add the milk, I gradually add milk. I am whisking. But remember, we want to avoid overheating the milk, because if we overcook the milk, then we can cause what's called curds. And we do not want curds in it because that takes away from the nice, smooth quality of our bechamel. So at this stage, you'll notice that the sauce has become a little bit thicker. I'm going to reduce the temperature of the sauce. And I'm going to check for doneness. I'll take a spoon, dip it into the sauce. I'm going to turn it over and run my finger through the back of the spoon. You'll notice as I do that, the sauce does not run back to the center of the spoon, which means that we've reached the perfect thickness for our sauce. We're going to, at this point, add our cheese to the sauce. You'll see that I'm using a combination of cheddar and mozzarella, which just increases the flavor of the sauce. I stir in the cheese, which will begin to melt. And you'll notice by us making the bechamel, it allows us not to have an oily sauce during this process. I am going to finish seasoning our sauce with salt and pepper, and then I will add in our noodles. Once the noodles have been added, I check for consistency, check for flavor. If I need to adjust the seasonings, I can add additional seasonings. So again, we're tasting. If We're not tasting, we're not cooking. And when we're finished, we have the perfect creamy macaroni and cheese. Just remember, again, check with your parents, cook under their supervision, and make sure you have permission in order to cook on the stovetop with your parents. And then last but not least, if you would like to if you are the type of individual who likes the baked macaroni and cheese, this is a great base for baked macaroni and cheese. I like to place it into a glass Pyrex pan, sprinkle a little additional cheese on top of it, and then I bake it for an additional 10 to 15 minutes in the oven, and you'll have a nice golden macaroni and cheese. Happy baking and happy cooking.